Good morning, everyone. It is Jules here from the Gaming Channel, joined as ever by Scott.
Hello.
And we have a bit of news, which could mean only one thing. It's time to hit that jingle.
Hot dang, there's news, give it all you got. I guess it's time for Jules and Scott.
Never gets old. Right, okay, so today we're going to be talking about Star Wars. Can you believe it? It seems to be the hot topic of at the moment. Now, they've been going through a lot of things. I played the game myself. I have my own reservations on it. As a game, mechanically, I'm enjoying my time with it. Do you know what I'm not enjoying, though? Loot boxes. And neither is the rest of the world.
Oh, mate.
So much so that it's caught the attention of the mainstream media.
Yes.
Now, I didn't expect this to go as far as it has, but we have had the Belgian Gaming Commission.
Yes, the Belgian Gaming Commission.
And we've also had Hawaii, the actual state of Hawaii is weighing in on this as well.
So everybody, all in Hawaii, they just mobilised and got stuck in.
It's quite strange because this whole situation has arisen from the loot boxes being a pay-to-win formula for the game, and whether or not it constitutes as a form of gambling, and therefore, if it does, it should not be marketed at children because this game is not age-rated. Anyone can pick this up. I think. It's not, at least it's not an 18+ sort of thing, which most gambling sites are.
And regardless, it's Star Wars. It's like the biggest child property ever. And some of the things that happened last week, where obviously the game released, massive controversy as to the progression being completely random. People kicked off about that, and then once you started delving into those systems, what happened last week was one of Disney's CEOs rang EA and was just sort of like, stop ruining Star Wars for us. It's meant to be for everyone, or whatever. I mean, look, Disney would have been involved in the creation of this game along the way. But
I mean, this is the thing. Like, loot boxes are in gaming, they're everywhere at the moment. But there seems to be not a right way of doing it, but they seem to be a more acceptable practice way of doing it versus what EA have done. And EA have done it so that it's not even a good model. No. You can chuck 30, 40, 100 quid at this, and you still might not get the same rares as somebody who just randomly gets a box. It's a pay-to-win formula that encourages you to spend money to get better things, but at the same time isn't even a good one. But that's where the gambling aspect comes in. Yes. Because it's not a guaranteed mythic rare card or whatever you're going to get into it. That uncertainty is what has been picked up by the Belgian Gaming Commission, because they say, well, if you're not guaranteeing something that you're paying for, then you can't say that isn't gambling.
That's one of the weirdest things with it is that there's a lot of nuance to the very definition of gambling. There's a lot of different breakdowns online, the philosophy of it, how different countries regulate it or different states and stuff. The Belgian government basically went in and they concluded that ultimately the game is built on addiction, and that's having that anywhere near children represents a form of gambling, which is very true. I mean, we've talked about loot boxes before, and it's
you put them side by side with, say, Overwatch. Overwatch is purely cosmetic. It doesn't affect the gameplay. This affects the gameplay, and it does encourage people to chuck a load of money into it because the grinding to unlock stuff is so slow. It therefore creates not a paywall, but a soft paywall. And it is infuriating because even in my time playing the game, it's only been out for what, 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, not very long.
When you get killed by people, you can see what star cards they've got, and I'm seeing just sort of 3, 4 blocks coloured rare
to encourage you to go and get more.
Because I'm just getting absolutely slaughtered. But I will persevere with this game because I am enjoying it when I'm playing it, but I do not enjoy the way that you unlock stuff.
Right.
And it does worry me that if people like the Belgian Gaming Commission, if Hawaii is stepping up, what's the guy's name? Not Stan.
Which
Lee,
one?
Chris Lee.
Yes.
Chris Lee from Hawaii.
Not Stanley.
Yeah, Stanley.
Imagine if he got involved.
I've just done comic news. Sorry about that. So it's
amazing.
It's just it boggles the mind because now it's got to the state where we have countries weighing in and saying, is this illegal?
Well, that's the thing with the Belgian Gaming Commission, because they said mixing gambling and gaming, especially at a young age, is dangerous for the mental health of the child.
And I totally agree with that.
Same.
I totally agree with that.
But I think the mentality is dangerous in itself.
But then but then we have to say, where's the line? Because I don't know if you guys know this, you probably don't. I like playing Magic the Gathering. We play nearly every lunchtime. Yeah, the thing is that is a form of gambling. You buy a booster pack and you do that, but that's sold to kids.
Well, that was the thing.
You know what I mean? It's a slippery slope argument, because if you start having people like the Gaming Commission saying this is illegal, this can't be allowed. While that does affect gaming for the better, if loot boxes disappear overnight, I won't be complaining. But at the same time, does that then go into toys? Does that go into other markets?
Well, see, I think a lot of the problem, like I said, a lot of the definitions online are very nuanced and very, we haven't got a specific global breakdown of what gambling is. There are
there's different rules for different states as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look into the way that China regulates it, the whole thing of, you're buying, tokens and it's a gift and you're going to gamble this and whatever. But like the whole thing that's different with like Magic or whatever is that you know what you're getting into. You know it's a random pack.
Yeah.
The problem with Battlefront, the reason it's been kicked off so much is because they didn't talk about this loot system, this whole RNG grind thing, until pretty much launch or a few hours before launch.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, and plus you're dropping 60 quid or 50, whatever, you're dropping full price on this thing, and then there's a free-to-play model inside it. It feels insidious and greedy as hell. And like,
it is greed after all that is the main reason that people have a problem with this, because as you pointed out before we started shooting, that an EA representative sent a message out to their investors saying that the short-term removal of the loot box system or the money system they've got at the moment will not impact their sales.
Which is hilarious.
That is hilarious, because that either means that they are lying to their investors because it will impact them because there's a lot of revenue that's disappearing, or, which is the most likely one, they've been lying to us for years about the cost of games, meaning that there needs to be a necessity of loot boxes.
It's almost like they're greedy corporate business people and we never needed a microtransaction system in the first place.
Now, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because at the end of the day, I do want to still keep receiving free games from them. But
I'll say it. I mean, you know, coverage is coverage regardless.
I kid. Like, this is a practice that needs to be sorted out. Unfortunately, if Star Wars Battlefront needs to be the scapegoat to basically, or the pariah to go through the fire and get lambasted by the media, then so be it, because things like this need to happen.
Yes.
As with the YouTube apocalypse, as with like anything that's come across from like all the Steam review sale stuff, there needs to be moments like this and games to be made examples of. Unfortunately, it just seems to be that one of the biggest franchises made by one of the biggest publishers is going to be at the firing line.
I do think, like you said, that at the heart of this, these conversations need to happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of those things where EA have pushed it to such a degree that people have gone like, hey, I can feel that this is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's taken something as big as something like a Star Wars themed game, marketed to so many people at once or whatever, for this to have such an impact. I mean, the sales for this are 60% down on 2015's original.
That's crazy, isn't it?
But that's good for me.
People are speaking with their wallets, which is great. I mean, we haven't bought our copies.
I still haven't bought it.
We still haven't played it. Press copies of it. But would I go out and buy it knowing this?
Well, I literally
I would not buy it for full price.
No, I mean, I literally was in the store yesterday and I was like, I should get it because I want to do some coverage on it.
Yeah.
And I probably will end up, I don't know, I'll probably end up trading a bunch of games in or whatever, because I'm like, well, I'm duty bound to cover it for the sake of the site and the channel. But at the same time, morally and principally, I don't want to pick it up. I don't want to give them money, which is why I'm waiting for it to go down in price or something like that. This stuff does not deserve to be rewarded, and a lot of people have spoken with their wallets, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we have seen like a difference in the game. They've removed the microtransactions, they've rejigged the way the stats work, etc. The actual guts of this game do need to be completely changed.
Yeah, do you know what? It's just really disappointing because as it stands at the moment, I'm enjoying the single player campaign. I am enjoying what multiplayer matches that I've played so far. I just am really disappointed and discouraged from really investing time into it because I feel like I'm not going to buy any boxes.
No,
obviously not. But I feel like my grinding time to get 1 or 2 items when somebody else has got like 5 or 6 already, I'm just like, that does discourage me a little bit.
And that's the thing, like they never, like if they sat around in a board meeting and they obviously thought of this and that's great business, and it's good business.
Yeah.
But then they never thought of how it's going to feel to the player. Like you get killed by someone who has a +10 headshot mod or whatever it is, you're immediately going to go, well, if I had that, I would have won. Yeah. And so you've ruined the competitive element of it. And it's like no part of this stat balancing, like, you know, having to look online, look at drop rates and algorithms. No part of that is fun. No part of that is worthwhile at all.
It's just the randomized nature of it all as well. Yeah. It's just a bit insidious. Anyway, so those have been our thoughts. Let us know what you think about this, whether or not you've actually picked up the game, what you think about loot boxes in general, and do you think it's fair for Star Wars Battlefront to be in the front of this argument while others are kind of slipping by, because there are still a lot of other companies that are doing this as well.
It's true.
But let's just say, in our opinion, it needs to happen. If somebody needs to be crucified, might as well be one of the biggest people with the deepest wallets.
Yeah, they can take it. Yeah. They can take the blow for now, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but let us know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. Then head back to whatculture.com for more news and articles like this every goddamn day. As always, I've been Jules.
I've been Scott. Oh my God, I'm jumping in.
It's fine, mate.
Hey,
He's been Scott.
Hey, buddy.
It's okay, don't cry.
Okay, we'll get through it.
I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.